It's a no for me, dog.
No.
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 All right, because we're going to get Anthony back right now because we're doing a little bit of a Big Apple Hockey who says no, but it's not what you think. Usually it's for mock trades. We're going to talk about playoff matchups tonight. And if you ever need hockey equipment, guys, go to Pure Hockey. Click the link in the description below. I always find it's like Randall walking through the videos with Clerks where he just walks through and he's in heaven every time I'm ever there. Great selection. But this week, we're going to talk about potential first-round matchups that teams may not exactly want. And, Filk, let me start you with this one. Who's really doesn't want this matchup to happen, the Rangers or the Devils?
I don't think the Devils want that matchup to happen. And I know that other fans might come back and say, oh, well, the Rangers don't want that because of the Devils' speed. Now, listen. Everybody has their own adjustment periods, but if you're going to tell me that you're happy with what you've seen from Timo Meier in New Jersey, I think you're a liar. I'm going to call you a bold-faced liar right to your face. I don't like their goaltending. I don't think their goaltending is proven. I don't think it's all that great. They have a good young team. They're inexperienced, and they're going to face a lot of star power. Remember, the last time the Rangers and the Devils faced, there was no Kane, there was no Tarasenko. So, I think, the Devils have a decent defensive unit. It's not great, but the Rangers' depth is really going to test that unit and that goaltending. So I would say the Devils do not want that matchup.
Anthony, who doesn't want this matchup?
Anthony, you're muted.
Yep, I was. I actually think the Rangers match up better against the Hurricanes than they do the Devils. They've beaten the Hurricanes before in the playoffs. And I know the regular season is different than the playoffs, and I know rosters have changed on both sides. But the Devils have given the Rangers fits in the regular season. I just something about it, sometimes certain teams have certain teams' numbers. This year, the Devils have played the Rangers really well. They play a really fast game. If I were a Ranger fan, I'd rather have them play the Hurricanes in the first round. So for me, I think the Rangers would say no on this.
I've said this over and over and over again. I always called it the Yaroslav Halak rule, whether or not it's unfair or not. That's the wrong name to give it. But I always say when a goalie is getting his new max of games, he's got to be prepared to endure those games. And the later the season goes on, the more he can break down. Vitek Vanacek in the last month, 4-1-1 in February, 4-2-1 in March. Sub 900 save percentage every month since then.
Well, that's fucking not good.
In February, 892, 2.75 goals against. In March, 888, 3.12 goals against. The Devils do not want the New York Rangers in any way, because if that happens, I like the Devils are playing right now. Like I said, I saw them last week against Tampa Bay, but that's something that they got to make sure they get right. I know they're playing Akira Schmid a lot more right now, but it's not a good thing. How about this for a matchup? Wild card 2, the New York Islanders versus the Boston Bruins. Who says no? Anthony.
I mean, the Bruins shouldn't be afraid of everyone. They're the best team in the league. Chances are whoever they play in the first round, they win.
No shit.
If Boston were able to choose their opponent, they would not choose the New York Islanders. They would choose the Pittsburgh Penguins or the Florida Panthers. And that's right now who they would play. I mean, perfect world. I don't see the Islanders dropping wild card 2, but stranger things have happened. But I don't think the Bruins would welcome playing them just because the style they play is more suited for the playoffs. And unlike Pittsburgh with Tristan Jarry and Bobrovsky in Florida, they don't have a goaltender that could possibly, steal the series from them. Where, the Islanders, Ilya Sorokin, Shesterkin, Vasilevsky, maybe Attinger. Those are probably the only guys that could steal a series from the Boston Bruins right now, and the Bruins know that. So this is tricky. I mean, the Bruins.
Well, the Bruins aren't going to fear anybody, but out of
Yeah.
I think you answered it exactly the way I want you to answer it.
Yeah.
Out of
Okay.
the
So I
teams.
think, yeah.
I think the Islanders don't want this matchup. I understand that Sorokin could steal a series, but I don't think the Islanders want to see the Bruins. Maybe they do because they want to test themselves, but deep down inside, I can tell you right now, no team would want to face Boston. It's not a slight at the Islanders. I don't think anybody would want to face Boston right now. Can they be beaten? Yeah, absolutely. Any team can be beaten. We saw the 96 Red Wings get beaten. We saw the 2019 Tampa Bay Lightning get beaten. I mean, there are teams that are just amazing that have lost. So I don't think the Islanders want to see it. Will they take the matchup on? Yeah. I mean, they have to if that's the case. But I don't see the Islanders slipping a wild card too.
Again, let me just be clear. This is a little bit of a tongue-in-cheek one. Don't worry, there's going to be two more better ones soon enough. But I think the Bruins don't want any part of a hot goalie or a great goalie like Ilya Sorokin. I mean, they're not really scared of Sergei Bobrovsky. He's playing all right, but not that great. And they're certainly licking their chops, looking at Tristan Jarry. And I have to look at the Bruins. They would probably say no to this. I don't think the Islanders want the Bruins either. I think the Islanders are going to keep trying to be wild card one, and then they get Carolina or New Jersey. That's scary. They could actually win that series, I think. So, but the Bruins would not want any part of Ilya Sorokin. Here's one for you out west. Edmonton Oilers versus the LA Kings, and it does look like that might be the matchup. Filk, which team does not want this matchup?
LA. They do not want anything to do with Mick Draisaitl at this point. No. They don't. And Edmonton went through them last year. I think they're an even better team this year, and I think Edmonton made the best pickup of any team at the deadline when they got Mattias Ekholm. He has been the biggest difference maker of any player that's been traded. He's done it offensively for them, which has been a huge bonus, and he's solidified their defense. So I don't think LA wants anything to do with having to face the two of the best player in the world, and then maybe number 2 or number 3, if you want to say Leon Draisaitl, whatever, and then an improved defensive group. So, yeah, I don't think LA wants to face Edmonton.
Anthony.
I don't think LA wants to face Edmonton for the exact reasons that Filk laid out. However, if you look at the Oilers from the Kings' perspective, they have Jack Campbell and Stuart Skinner in goal, and that's not a winning combination either. And the Kings are capable of scoring goals. They got some good forwards. So I also think the Kings look at the Oilers and say, we could beat them. But I guess I lean a little more towards the Kings, not wanting the Oilers. I just wanted to add that nugget because I think the Oilers are very flawed too.
Who does LA have in net, though?
No, you're right. To answer that question.
It's bad. Phoenix Copley and Jonas Korpisalo.
You don't think Connor McDavid is foaming at the mouth having to face those two goaltenders? I want to know what planet you're on then.
Get me a towel.
No, I can't. You're absolutely right. I'm just saying the Oilers aren't good in goal either. So the Kings probably look at the Oilers as a team that they could score a lot of goals on.
I'd take Campbell over. I'd take Campbell over the two goaltenders combined, and I'm not even a big Campbell fan.
Well, here's one thing I have to say about that. In the old NHL on the Sega Genesis, and they would bring up everybody with the check marks next to them, offense, centers, right wing, left wing. If it would get down to goaltenders, there would be no check marks next to any of these teams. They're going to bring Z-level goaltending in this series. And I got to agree with both of you guys that both these the goaltending matchups are going to be terrible. I think LA they're going to look at it and say they're going to roll Anze Kopitar and Philip Deneau up against the big boys of Edmonton and see if they could shut them down. And this is a team that should have won that series last year. I don't think that's, I think I'd still say LA would want Seattle to jump ahead, obviously, but I mean, it's so LA would be the team that doesn't want the matchup, but again, goaltending is going to be atrocious. Absolutely atrocious.
I think that's going to be put out at the OK Corral.
Oof, I mean, there might be 100 goals in that series.
Gavrikov is a nice upgrade. And you know what? If Edmonton didn't add Ekholm, I would feel a lot more differently about this in Edmonton's perspective, because Gavrikov is a good add, although he's been good, not great. But, I mean, Edmonton's upgraded in goal. LA's upgraded at forward with Fiala.
And defense with Gavrikov,
defense with Gavrikov. But Edmonton's also, they've got Kane back. I mean, they have Ekholm. I mean, they have pieces. So Edmonton's done themselves a nice little job.
Now, is this going to be one of those playoff series, sort of like St. Louis versus Minnesota last year, where you're expecting to see all four goaltenders?
I don't know if you're necessarily expecting to see all four, but it definitely could happen.
All right.
Because I don't think either of these any of these goaltenders are great. And I mean, I trust Edmonton's too, just because they're a little more seasoned, I would say. Maybe Korpisalo's got some playoff seasoning, but I don't even trust Korpisalo all that much.
Anthony, in this playoff series, do you think you could see all four goaltenders?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. Last one for us, guys, and then we're going to go to Q&A and just notes. The Dallas Stars versus the Minnesota Wild. Assuming Colorado rolls to win the division, which team does not want any part of the other one? Anthony.
It's actually, I think it's actually even pretty fairly evenly matched. I mean, Minnesota's a real strong defensive team. They play hard. Gustafson's actually been a surprising goal. And then Dallas too. I mean, they play strong defensively. Ottinger too. So two good goalies. I think both teams would probably feel the same way, that they have a really good chance of winning the series, especially if Kaprizov comes back. I have a hard time picking which one wouldn't want any part of the other here, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm having trouble with this one too. Filk, what do you think?
I think Minnesota wants no part of Dallas. I just don't think that Minnesota has the depth to compete with Dallas' scoring. I think the defensive units are comparable. I think there's a big advantage in net in Dallas too, in Ottinger over anything that Minnesota could put in net. So I don't think Minnesota wants anything to do with Dallas if that's the case.
All right, and you know what? Yeah, I'm going to say it's Minnesota. I don't know who Minnesota then matches up with. Minnesota, they've been playing so well. They just recently had that 14-game point streak snapped. I forgot if it got larger than that. Sorry, it's been a long week. But, I mean, I don't know who Minnesota faces that's a favorable matchup. And there's still a chance they can win the division, possibly get Seattle they might get right now. So if they won if they got the division, they got to go for it as well. They got to get over the Avalanche. So this was an interesting experiment that we had for Big Apple Hockey's, who said no, because I would love to do some more stuff like this. And I even think we could do this for free with free agents too. So
yeah, probably good. I like it.
Yeah, you guys caught on to exactly what I still want.
Mike Smith, let's just say the Oilers, they might as well use a shooter tutor in that.
Yeah.
Might as well put me in net, and I haven't played ice hockey goal since.
Yeah, you might as
God
well
knows.
just Goldberg Marc and just tie him to the post at that point.
All right.
Going through some
Guys, do we
comments.
have any notes besides by the way, that Fanatics?
And
NYR
NYR for life says thinks the Islanders would give Boston a run for the money, which
I also think the Islanders style does not work well for Boston. Like they'd give Boston some fits.
Yeah.
Not saying Boston would really be afraid or anything, but I do think that would be a problem.
I mean, I think it would be a hard-fought series. I just don't think that the Islanders would want to face Boston. I think they would rather face another team, and I think Boston isn't really scared of the Islanders. I mean, the one area where I would say that the Islanders have the advantage is absolutely in net. Otherwise, I think Boston has the advantage up and down the lineup.
And it's amazing because Linus Ullmark is going to win.
Please like and subscribe to our channel. We have a lot of great hockey content and an entertaining interactive podcast. So check us out and our library of videos.
Your ideas are intriguing to me, and I wish to subscribe to your newsletter.